Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Hello and welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. My name is Daniel Martinez-Stahl. This is Season 8, Episode 5. Second episode of the day. We're on day 2. And joining us back is Jevona Klassen. She was with us a couple seasons ago. She is part of the the Sarah Landon community with me as well. And we were introduced through a mutual friend who is also part of the community that I didn't know was part of the community until after she started speaking in the summit with me. And so it was a nice kind of, oh, you're there too. Anyway, so Jevona, wait, what's going on?
Hello.
What just happened? That was weird. That just happened automatically. I didn't touch anything.
Maybe
So
it's Spirit. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah, I'm playing with this, AI
Okay.
companion thing, and I'm hoping the AI companion isn't opening things up. I don't know. Anyway, so Jevona was with us last time, and I invited her to come back and play with us again. No idea what we're going to talk about as always, but I'll let her introduce herself to you, and then we will go from there.
Hi, I'm Jevona, and I'm happy to be here. And yeah, I'm very excited to be back to play and I'm a channel, I'm a medium, I'm a guide, I'm a, I don't know, joy guide, everything and anything. Yeah, that's me. I'm here to create heaven on earth. I'm here to just, yeah.
Yeah, I like the, I don't know what I am. I like that. I am Daniel Martinez-Stahl, and I don't know what I am. I am. So I don't even know what topic you chose to play with. What are we playing with today?
Happy and still dancing with life.
Happy and still dancing with life. Right. Okay, so
I was going to ask if there was a cardinal that came visit you this time.
Remember last time? No, the birds have been very quiet. Right, this time of year they're actually quite quiet. I haven't seen a cardinal yet, though. If I do, I'll let you know.
Okay.
I keep on looking out, but I haven't seen anybody come through all day today, which is a little sad. But
I have a funny little story. Well, I have lots of funny stories, but this one is particularly to this. Like, so I have a sparkle show now with 2 other girls, and in our sparkle show, we talk about, the light within us, spark the light, magic and all this fun stuff. And we're really just our real selves, things. Sometimes the music doesn't go on and we'll just sing, and it's not perfect, but we're just being who we are and going in the moment. And so I have these stories with like animals, and I don't know if I talked about the animals last time, but I might have brought up stink bugs. So there's this thing with me and stink bugs the last couple of years, and they would just show up and I would talk to them. And at first I didn't talk to them, but then when I started to just talk, and all of a sudden they would be receptive, and one we thought were dead, all of a sudden was alive. And then I'd be like giving it a tissue, putting it outside, and I have a routine in the morning. I drink my water, I have my tea, and then, the next day there would be like a few more, and all of a sudden there would be one on my teapot, and then there'd be one by the water, and then there'd be one by the Kleenex. And I'm like, okay, so you want to go outside? And so I have this like I find one in my dresser drawer, like just the odd places they would just show up. And I'd be like, okay, there's something going on here. And I'd be like on a call, and there'd be one beside me on like my lamp, and it'd be like listed, like it'd just be perked up. So we had our sparkle like little show about half an hour, like about an hour before this, which was helped me with my nerves. But I haven't seen a stink bug in a while, in a long time. So between my sparkle show, I got up to go to the washroom, and right on the ledge, there was this stink bug, and I had not seen a stink bug. And I'm like, and it's looking at me like it's not even just like, crawling. It was like this. And I'm like, really? Of course there's a stink bug here before I go to do this show. Like it was just like, I have to share that because I feel like it's, spirit, or maybe it wasn't the cardinal bird that didn't work. It was the stink bug for me.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Do you know why they're called stink bugs? Because I don't think they stink. I've never,
No, me neither.
anyway. Um,
Yes, no.
just curious. I don't know if I'm missing something with that or not. Um, so I've been asking people what they want to start with, but for some reason I'm feeling like there's something that I want to start with.
Okay.
Like second time, something around love. I don't know what, I don't know why, but something about love, happiness and love, given that you're playing with happiness still, dancing with happiness. So not too long ago, I heard a channel talk about how source is love, God is love, everything is love, we are love, the answer to everything is love. And I started wanting to better understand what that is. There's a number of people in my circle that are like, oh, well, it's this, and oh, well, it's this, and oh, well, it's this. And that's not why I'm bringing this up, because I'm not looking for an answer. I'm bringing this up because this is my own exploration that I'm going through. This is what I'm looking to understand, looking to better have a grasp of it. I I like to be able to hold something in my hand to understand it, and then recognize that there are no boundaries to it, and that it can be more expansive than whatever object or model or structure I've put it under. And love is one of these things that is very elusive to me. It's a term that people use all the time in the spiritual community. And I genuinely, I believe that more than half of them have no idea what they're saying, and they're just repeating it because everybody else says it. And I don't want to be one of those people. And so I want to know what love is to me at a very profound level. And so this is my journey. This is my exploration right now. And I don't know why this is coming up for me to share as an opening statement for this conversation, but this is what came through. And so I would love to basically turn it over to you and say, what does that awaken in you to share?
Mm. I think that's perfect, because I almost feel like you were channeling that to me. Because I just like, I so love could be, you could say the word like joy or peace, or everybody has different meanings for love, right? And for me, when I share like happiness and joy, and sometimes people don't always understand, oh, you're so happy all the time, or not everything happy, all rainbows, love, up and sunshine. And I'm like, well, yeah, I can be. And so So even I feel like the word sometimes joy triggers people, or just, but it's to me, joy is love for me. Peace, ease, just loving yourself, I feel, is really important. And when you show up as who you are, and just being, I feel like this is the journey that I've been on the last year. Like I've awakened a while ago through, my cancer journey and my daughter moving and all that stuff. But even just showing up this last year, like I would be with people and they say, "You're naturally joy. Like that's your gift. You just are just happy." And I'm like, "Yeah, this is just something I always naturally do." It was, and maybe before when I was younger, it was, people say you're resilient, and I'm like, well, okay, yeah, I've gone through this, or how come you're so happy? Do you not know what sadness feels like and all this? Well, I actually do know what all that feels like, because I've been on the journey, and I call that the yellow brick road. Like I've been through all the different things, of sadness and grief and all that. But there was just something within me that, maybe it's knowing the truth underneath it all, was that we are love, that we are part of something bigger. And it's just, and it's you finding you, because there could be all these outside distractions, everybody else's language or what everybody else loves, but truly loving yourself and able to, look in the mirror and love yourself, or witness yourself, sharing, expressing, like being vulnerable is love, you know, um, just, and shining your light. Like I feel like I've, um, yeah, it's like, I feel like I spewed out a lot, but love is, to me, just who we are and everything around us, and the awareness of the universe, our soul, just really feeling good. I love feeling good. I love dancing. I love eating cupcakes. I love, I love, you know, walking and talking to the squirrels. People will be like, she's a little bit weird, but I just love connection. I just love seeing you smile. I love that you, I think it's your, definitely feel the spirits are here with us, and it's like that. I feel like your inner, I feel like this was with us for the last time we had our conversation too. It was just like that inner version of you, like coming to play, there's certain people that bring that out in you, right? You could be around certain people and you're like, I guess I better just be a little quiet, or this. And then when you're around those certain people, you're like, oh, yay, I can just play now. Yay. Like when you're a kid and you're like, they're not going to judge me. I'm just going to go. I'm going to go to the swings. I'm going to do this. And, when you're around those certain people that have that vibration, and that's your natural vibration, you just kind of like, oh, yeah, this is fun. I can come out and play. You feel safe, right? You feel safe to play.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I want to share about my journey as well for people that are listening, when we're talking about happiness and joy, like Jevona mentioned, sorry, is it Jevona or Jevona?
Jevona.
Jevona?
I don't know if people sound, these don't sound good.
So Jevona, okay. Yeah. So Jevona mentioned this, right? when people talk about joy, happiness, love, peace, ease, they can be synonymous depending again on the context. Spirit talks about we're moving into a place of love, we're moving into a place of joy. Joy is a term that doesn't align with me. I don't relate to that term. I had a coach that I worked with for a while. And after working for a while, he said, you know what, Daniel, I've never seen you really be happy. And I was like, but I'm at peace. And he just couldn't accept that how I was connecting with the message that we were both pointing ourselves towards was different than him. Because for him, people that were looking in this direction were, bubbly and exuberant and joyful, and I wasn't. So therefore, my interpretation was you're missing something because you're not like everybody else. My response to him was, I feel at peace more often than not. There's a sense of ease in my energy, in my mind. My mind became quieter. But do I feel joy? I don't know if I would put it in those terms. But do I feel peace and at ease? Yes, I do. And so when we're talking about happiness, if this is something that for whatever the reason isn't within your makeup, listen for the other aspects that are also representative of higher states of vibration, like ease and peace and tranquility and clarity, calmness, a sense of presence can all be other signs of being in higher states of vibration. So being in joy and happiness is a wonderful experience, and it's a very high vibrational experience. And it's not the only thing that is an indicator of a high vibration. There are others as well.
Like even when you eat something that you really like and you're just like, this is so yummy, like just, that's joy.
There's I have memories of fruit that were so spectacularly delicious that they stand out. And what I started to recognize that for me, I cannot relate to the word joy, but I can relate to the word enjoyment.
Hmm.
And so that was one of the ways that I found connecting with what people are talking about is this idea of, I get a lot of pleasure in things. Like there was a pomegranate that I had 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, that the flavor was so rich and so incredible that it made me go, oh my, this is spectacular. This is an incredible experience. I had a grapefruit not too long ago that was spectacular, and it was just incredible. And then the next batch of grapefruit that I bought wasn't so good, and I was like, well, these are okay, but it wasn't like that last batch that I had that was just spectacular. And so it's these little things that, when we start to notice the things that we enjoy, we are leaning into that energy, whether we label it as joy or not, or happiness or not, which again, depending on the way that our humans are made up, the way that our interaction with life is made up, will manifest itself differently in each of us.
I think when you put too many words on it, sometimes we limit it, right? When it's just a feeling, just a presence, awareness.
So having said this, I would love to get you to talk more about what do you mean by still happily dancing?
So, okay. So I want to share, like when I was on the first one, it was the first time being with you, and I was nervous. And I'm still a little nervous, but I am much better, I think. I'm more comfortable, a little more comfortable. But like even when I had that, it took me until you sent me that to watch myself. Like I had there, naturally being joy, be my joyful self, and then all of a sudden, oh, sharing it with others. Oh, like being seen and so sometimes I can just like, if I'm not in the spotlight, I'm just like, oh, I'm doing this, la 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 la, and then as soon as you put you in the spotlight, it's like, blah, 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 it's like it's like that throat. I'm like, oh, it's like it's that receiving, right? Because we're so used to giving, 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 but that's the receiving. I'm receiving me. Like I'm source energy. I'm God. I'm having a human experience. Like I'm giving myself to others in this joyful spirit and everything that I should be receiving myself. And it was really hard to receive myself or be in the spotlight, that I have something to share with others. And so it still took me a bit to like, and the last, like I did ask for the expansion. I did say yes, being like, yes, I'm ready to expand. And who am I? Who am I now? And as soon as you say yes to expansion, like you got to watch out. You watch out. It's like, you're just like, I'm ready to fly. Okay, here you go. Ah, woo, it's kind of scary out here. But, it's like riding a bike. It's learning and being seen more. And so since I did say yes to that, and I've traveled a lot, like in the past since August. I've met more people. I've played more. Um, just so much more expansion's been happening for me. I can't, and almost like I can't even keep up. Like, and I do have my moments where I'm like, there are my peaceful moments, and every morning when I wake up, I the minute I wake up, I always move my mind, my heart, my soul to my highest self. I just get myself into the highest vibration, connecting to my guides, tuning into my guides. And then, I go get my tea. I sit, and I sit on my bed. I do some writing. I channel. I take that time for myself, and I continually to do that during the day. So even if there's moments that I'm not feeling so good, like it's expressing, I will be a hot mess from time to time and I'm okay. I laugh about it. It's like, oh, okay, there's that expression of me. But I don't like, oh, I should have done that or I shouldn't have done that. It's just the self-talk, it's like we could tune into like what we should have done, or we can tune into what's next. Oh, what's next? Oh, what's next? Like every moment is a new moment. I'm rewriting my story in every moment. So yesterday, was yesterday. Today is a new day. So it's being in that vibration, getting to stay in an alignment with myself, no matter what it is, even if it's like, there's, chaos is happening in, the world. I still I look around and see I start gentle, just like, oh, this is a nice bed I get to be in. Oh, I get to drink fresh water, or, having a shower. Like, I appreciate this warm water, or I like, appreciate this bug that's lying up, like just something small. Like the other day I was walking and in my house, there was this teeny little bug, and it was like the weirdest looking thing. And it was like round and had this long, I've never seen it before in my life, but I was like, oh, hi, what are you? It's just finding these moments, and even in your mundane, things are just every day, like the same thing. But it's just taking those moments, and when you're appreciating in the moments to moments to moments, then the next moments are more, right? You attract what you are, blah, blah, blah. I can see you have that look on your face. But it's just, so for still dancing, yes, I do actually I even created an event the last couple months. And the first time a year ago when I I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, I created an event. I was still shy or still like hiding after that, but I've been creating more and I've come up with different ideas because we are creators. And so I'm like, that would work with that. Oh, that would work with that. And then I would try it. And then whoever was, playing the event with me, they're like, oh, that really worked. Like I felt really good. I'm like, oh yay, and it's just playing with creation and not having an agenda, like not going like, okay, in 1 week from now, I want this to happen. It's just, I'm learning just to be in the moment and surrendering and allowing the universe to surprise me. And yeah, sometimes the surprises aren't always as fun. And, and then I always like, okay, this is, learning from the council. This is happening for me. So just always like staying in not reacting, just staying in a peaceful state, and if it's a bit rocky, well, I'll just hold on while I go through it. But yeah, I've there's been a lot of experiences since I've been on the last show with, the Sparkle show, like that just came up, like this being in the flow, being in the moment and allowing source to flow through you, all that stuff. I had someone come to me and say, hey, do you want to be on the Sparkle show? And I was like, I was in Orlando at this other event. And I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. And it's just all these little like signs from the universe, like little, like I call it the yellow brick road, because it's always like there'll be one little sign here and then it'll lead into the next sign or to the next sign. Well, when I was in I went to the UK for this mediumship workshop for the week. And we went to one of the places and I found this. I'm going to share this, guys. It's here. It's dangling. So I found this it was like a yellow fairy, right? And I read it and it's called the Sparkle Fairy. Beautiful of face, fair of heart, and stars in her eyes. Her effervescent, spirited presence is always the life of the fairy party. So I found this and I was like, okay, I love this. It's cute. I'm going to, bring it here and hang it up. And then, so a couple months later was when I was in Orlando. And then one of the girls was like, hey, we want to call it a podcast and we're going to do some dancing. And we're like, we got to have Jevona in it because she loves to dance. And, and so we're like, oh, we want to call it the Golden Channel or something, the Golden something. And then I was like, well, how about Sparkle? I don't know. Sparkle came up and then she's like, oh, that sounds great. And then I remember saying to the Jeannie, who is another girl that's part of it, like, I don't know, like a year ago when I had met her in one of the trips from the Masters, we were in San Diego. And I was just like, I looked at her and it was just like, we are the sparkles, we are the sparkles, like in the world, like the oneness. And then we are these magical source energy walking around. We are the sparkles. We're not like, when people try to label you, you're this, you're that, you're this. No, we're the sparkles. We are the magic. We are our purpose. We are why we're here. Yeah. So so just like little bits like that, and then one of the girls saw one of our Sparkle shows and then she sent me something and she found this little sparkly boa and she's like, I put that in your box for you because I saw it and it reminded me of you and I threw it in there. And it was just like, so cute. Like, it's just every day there's always something leading you to the next or to the next or to the next. So yeah, it's like when you're open and allowing for the magic, it shows up. And it could be just peace for you. It could be the cardinal bird outside your window. It could be, eating a pomegranate.
Eating a pomegranate or having a stink bug on your shelf.
Stink bug or shelf, yeah. You want to be part of the show.
There's a couple of things that popped in my mind as you were talking that I'm going to start with one and then I hope may or may not come back to the second. Let me go with this one because this is relating to what Carly was sharing in the chat. So Carly had a situation on a bus where the bus driver ignored her attempts to stop, and then she got upset and complained, and has found a lot of enjoyment in looking at the process after the fact and what she wrote and how she described it and things like that. To summarize, and so I wanted to mention this because, you know, we, in our human day-to-day experience, we regularly forget that there's oftentimes a more expansive perspective on things. You know, and I talk about how the other day I was listening to somebody talk about, it might have been the council actually, talking about the timing of things. That if you're late to something, it's because you're going to be arriving exactly when you needed to arrive. Not that you're, my mom has a big issue with being late for doctor's appointments, and I'm always like, relax. You know, if we're a few minutes late, it's not the end of the world, but she freaks out. And but the reason that I bring this up is because one of the examples that I regularly give is somebody's driving to work and they get a flat tire and they end up being late to work. They end up missing a meeting, and for the rest of the day, they're mumbling and grumbling about how horrible their day was because they had a flat tire. Little do they realize that had they not had the flat tire, they would have gotten to an accident 5 minutes later down the road.
Yeah.
And so the flat tire prevented them from a situation that isn't aligned to them and that isn't in their on their path and on their journey. And so the flat tire is actually a preventative action. And so potentially being kept on a bus longer than one wanted to could have been one of those moments where, had you gotten off when you wanted to get off, something else could have happened. You know, a friend of mine was working up in Alaska, and she got fired from her job 4 months before the end of her of the period that she had agreed to, and she was really upset. And I was thinking, well, you know, just that day I saw a TV show of polar bears that were attacking people in towns in Alaska. You know, I was thinking, well, you know, maybe had you still been there a month later, you would have gotten attacked by a bear. You know, you never know
Yeah.
how these things play out. And so one of the things that we're reminded of is this idea that everything happens for us. And so when things happen to me that aren't necessarily pleasurable or enjoyable, I do recognize that, you know, well, you know, how I do ask, why is this happening for me? But I also recognize things like, well, if that hadn't happened to me, then something that I really don't want could have happened. And this is just a small inconvenience. It's not a tragedy in my life. And we oftentimes do that. You know, we take our day-to-day experiences and we make them into these bigger things than they really are. It's a small inconvenience. It's no big deal. And it could have prevented something that would have been a big tragedy that really isn't part of your path. So I wanted to just kind of bring that up in reference to what Carly was showing.
And I was going to just say, like, sometimes you're put in places where you're needed. You know, maybe you're meant to be there for something else, someone else. You know, like, yes, it's for you, but, you know, trusting, knowing that whoever was around you needed your presence as well. If you're like stuck on a bus or, right?
So I'm reading a message here from Mountain Mama.
I like that name, Mountain Mama.
Mountain Mama. She says, love for me. I'm assuming that it's a she. No offense if not, but I'm assuming it's a she, given the mama. Love for me does not embody joy or happiness per se. We as love are too sacred and desecrated. Desacred. The image I see is an empty desert ravine. This is all in life that is desecrated. We are the flowing water pouring through, saturating and transforming the desolation into life. This is how I see love. So one of the things that I have come to understand within my own journey of exploring this idea of love, when people say that everything is love, I understand that. I speak a lot about understanding because for me, a lot of the interaction with the world is through my intellect. That's how I engage with life. That's how I interact with life. I can genuinely see that a mass murderer is doing it out of love. I can genuinely see that Hitler killed the millions of people that he killed out of love. I can genuinely see that. I can understand that. I can perceive that aspect of it. And so again, for me, this is like we were talking about earlier. There were some comments also from Matt and Mama about joy and enjoy. So I talk about I can appreciate enjoying things, but I have a hard time aligning with the concept of joy. Like it's not one of the things that I emotionally experience very often, but I can tap into it through my appreciation of joy, of enjoying things. And for me, this concept of seeing that everything is love, that everything has a basis or a foundation that comes from love behind the scenes of how behaviors are manifesting and behaviors are expressed, for me is the beginning part of my search of what love is in that bigger picture for me. Explain that again about Hitler, please. So I use Hitler as an example, as an extreme example, because it's so extreme that it's, well, if this is true for everything, then it would be true for him too. So the idea is that everything comes from love, that everything is love. Yeshua says this all the time. The council says this all the time in different ways. But Yeshua, who is the personification of the Christ energy, regularly, if you ever hear him channel through anybody in different ways, even anybody that I've ever heard him channel through will always be relating to the concept of love. One of the channels that I listen to regularly for Yeshua is Renee and Anthony, who have been on the show a couple of times. And on a number of occasions through their conversations, Yeshua would say that everything comes from love. And I started to see the truth of that everything comes from love. And so let me give you a couple easier examples than Hitler. If I am a racist being and I have an issue against Hispanics, I'm from Guatemala, so I'm picking that one. That's an easy one for me to pick, right? I've got an issue against Latin Americans, and I'm racist against Latin Americans. My racism is stemming from the fact that I'm perceiving them as a threat to my well-being and the well-being of my family. And so my actions of racism, my beliefs of racism, are rooted in a point of view and a perspective where I am protecting the well-being of myself and my loved ones because they are a perceived threat. If I was to murder Jevona because she has long hair,
I'm
okay,
too happy.
too happy, right? Not too happy. If I was to murder Jevona because she has, I keep on saying Jevona, I apologize. Hopefully you don't mind me mispronouncing it.
Okay.
I will get better at it. But so if I was to murder her for the fact that she has long curly hair, in the back of my mind, in the model that I've created, thought-based model that I've created at an unconscious level, I am associating her as a threat of some sort. The fact that she has long hair reminds me of, I'm just going to make this up, an aunt or a mother or an old hag that abused me when I was a child. And so I've got an association of long hair as a threat. And so by me taking her out, I am protecting myself and or, again, someone else, someone that I love. And so every action that people take, you can bring it back down to a protection. You can bring it down to a level of they are doing this because they are protecting themselves, because they love themselves so much that they want a better experience. And this individual is representing a threat to that perspective and that well-being. They are innocently assigning the well-being outside of themselves. And so Jevona is the cause of my upset. And so if I get rid of her, I'm gonna live a happier life. And I'm doing that because I want to live a happier life. I want to live in more joy. I want to live in more peace because I love myself. I know this sounds a bit twisted, but
Yeah,
this is where my mind goes in understanding that Hitler did what he did because of his love for humanity. Because in his mind, he thought these people are a threat to the well-being of humanity. These people are going to hold us back, are going to prevent us from expanding, are going to prevent us from being everything we are meant to be. So out of the love for humanity, he butchered and did atrocities to millions of people because he was so adamant that there was another path where that was better for humanity. Does that make sense? So we are all
when you
doing
think
the
of
best that we can in line with our current thinking. Absolutely. Yeah. So this is
when I think of, sorry, when I was gonna say, when you think of, say, like the animal world, you know, you got your eagle that eats the duck, you know, like, or the squirrels and the eggs and stuff. Like individually, they're all like, I love squirrels, I love the eagles, I love the birds, I love, you know. And there was this one time I seen, I guess, all of a sudden I can hear these crows outside. And you're like, wow. You're like, what's going on? What's going on? Why are they, you know? Next thing you know, I can see this raccoon is like crawling all the way up and maybe going to get the babies. And so they're all like, you know, and I'm like, raccoon, get down over there, you know? So you're like, you love the squirrel, but the squirrel will go in, you know, as a threat to the birds, or they go eat the eggs. So it's kind of like, that's just, I guess, their circle of life, right? I mean, whose team are you on when it comes to the squirrel, right?
I can no longer see nature programs at home because my mom doesn't like seeing the animals eating each other.
No, I don't like that either, but I don't like it either. It's just like, this is my world, this is my fairyland, and we're all gonna get along.
Yeah, so I want to address this and then I'll turn it over to you again.
Oh no, it's okay.
So Annabelle, the question or the comment here is, so we are all doing the best that we can in line with our current thinking. Now, I grew up when I was in my kind of high school, college years, my mother was studying psychotherapy and she and I were very close and we would talk a lot. And she infused in me the idea that we're all doing the best that we can, given what we know in the moment. And so that made sense to me and it felt real to me. It wasn't just a brush off like, well, I'm doing the best that I can. What really made the difference for me is when I started exploring the three principles, which is a description of life as defined by Sydney Banks, who passed away before I got into his teachings. What made the biggest difference for me was the back end of that statement that for me was missing, which you have, in yours, which is that we are doing the best that we can at any given moment in time, and we are making decisions based on the thinking that we believe to be real in that moment. That's the part that's missing from a lot of these statements, that we believe to be real in the moment. The thinking we believe to be real in the moment. If I believe that Jevona is a threat to me, and I believe that that's true, I'm going to act accordingly. I would be foolish not to. If there's a fire in my apartment, I would be foolish to stay in the apartment without doing something. And so if there is a threat to my well-being, I would be foolish not to do something about it. And when I innocently believe that something outside of myself is affecting my well-being, which is impossible to do because our well-being is innate to us and only we can control that and affect that, we give our power over to others to do, but we're actually doing it to ourselves because we're giving it away. And giving it away is metaphorical because no one else can do anything to you. But this idea that we are doing the best that we can, given the thinking that we believe to be real in the moment, that last part for me is the big aha moment. It's like, oh, I get it. And so Hitler was acting out because of the thinking that he believed to be real in the moment, which was that a certain type of human was a threat to his well-being and to the well-being of the planet. And because he perceived them as a threat, he did what was in his power to defend against that threat. And so this isn't to say that his actions are justifiable, which they're not. This isn't to say that his actions are okay, which they're not. But this is to say that when you start to see how things are playing out in a bigger picture, it gives you a different perspective on things. Over to you, Jevona.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I feel like that when I was younger, I was able to, like, when my mom had passed and stuff, I had three older brothers, and I always, even though that was my trauma and felt like my home just sort of like, whew, under my feet, it was like I felt like I was on that journey of finding that unconditional love. And so that's, I definitely, like, yes, I'm super, happy dancing with life, but I did go through the journey. And I look back now to all the times that I did go through, all the rough times and stuff. I can just see it now and be like, oh, that's why that happened, or that's why that happened, that's why that happened, and it's just, when I was, having three older brothers, they were my role models at 16 when my mom died. And I look at them as my role models, but then, years later, I'd be like, those are my role models? Oh my gosh. Like, they called me George growing up. I'm like, there's all these things that they did. I'm like, but I love them. I unconditionally love them because I'm like, they're my brothers, and, they do no harm, do no wrong or whatever. But as you get older, it's like, I think having them and watching them go through life, even though they're older, they definitely, I would say they're smarter, but they were going through things in life, and they could have ended up in jail with the things that they did. They could have, like, gone through all these paths. Maybe they didn't get caught. I mean, they didn't murder anybody, but for whatever reason, and I guess that might be the mediumship skills that or being a channel, or being why I am now a healer and stuff, is that when I could, like, if I did see a murderer, it was like, for whatever reason, I could connect to their soul, even though they did something wrong, and how bad they can be. And when somebody, I had friends that were part of the prison, be like, oh, this guy. And for whatever reason, when somebody tell me a story, and yeah, it would be awful story, there'd be something within me that would just feel their soul. Like, everybody was a child at one point. Everybody was a baby. We all came into this world with love, we all, and whether something happened when they were younger or, when they grew up to, not having enough love or not having being shown this. And like you said, protecting and doing things because of whatever reason. And they end up in jail because of this. And there's definitely lots of people that end up in jail that, didn't do anything wrong and they were just caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. But I don't know why it was like, why do I be picked to be like, somebody's telling me about, oh, they're just a murderer. And I'm like, yeah, but they were love. They came into this world of love. Like they did have a mother. They did come through this, beautiful place. And so I guess that was my journey to discover all this. I mean, yeah, if something happened to my daughter or my grandson or anything now, I mean, I'm sure I would be protective, and I'm not sure what I would do in the moment, but I definitely feel like I've come from a place, I've grown a lot since then. And I guess that's where all these, we all have this path to follow. And I look back and my trauma was, I guess you think, my gift, right? Because I wouldn't want to take back what I've learned, right? Because even when I had my cancer, it really opened me up to like, what was I feeling in my body the year before? And then getting cancer, it all of a sudden just wakes you up. These things that happen in our life just wakes us up, because sometimes we can just walk around and being like, oh, it's this day, this day, this day. And then when something big happens to you, it's like you really are in the moment, because you're like, what am I feeling? I'm like, this is, this awful. This is, and you're, whether somebody passed or transition, and that, it's just like it just wakes you up. And then you have to go by moment to moment, because you're like, I don't know, I can't even survive. I'm crying lots. This is happening, right? So it's, like sometimes we just go through life and I feel like when we have illnesses and traumas and stuff in our life, it just sort of directs you back to your path, like we're here for a reason. I feel like we're all here for a reason, right? And I feel like everything that happens in our life guides us in the right direction. So yeah, I'm super happy and dancing with life. And I feel like I've always been happy and dance with life. But there was a time where, that phrase of hiding behind a cheerful face. Yeah, I was giving, 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 giving. But it was until my cancer and my daughter moving away that I was with myself and had to really be like, who am I? Who am I? Like, I'm not just a mother. She moved away. I'm not just, you're not just like whatever your job is. Who am I underneath the job, the bank account, the children? We each have a soul. And I find that our intuition is always guiding us. And when we have an illness and stuff like that, these things are just to wake us up to being like, hey, let's move you back on your path, follow your truth is love, peace, whatever that word is for you. That's why you're here. Or maybe you're here to have just a really good time, even if you're, you end up, being in an accident at the end. If you chose to come here and I want to leave the world just like this, or I'm going to leave the world like that, it's what brings you peace. Sometimes we overthink things, right? We can use our mind to overthink things, or we can use our mind to use our imagination and create fun things, because really our minds are connected to source, the God mind, the source mind, and they're seeing through your eyes. So the more you spend creating in your mind this imagination, this beautiful world, the beautiful world shows itself to you. That's my experience. Yeah, I'm rambling on.
There's a comment in the chat that I want to read to you guys, which is the love, quote unquote, described by channelers as being the stuff all is created from, for me, is not the same thing we are discussing as a human emotion. And I would challenge you with that, if I may. If you give me permission to challenge you, I would challenge you with that. What Spirit is talking about, and this is entirely my interpretation, so of course take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, but it's an invitation for you to go deeper into your own experience. When Spirit is talking about how everything is love, or everything comes from love, our human emotions come from love too, which is what I was describing in a convoluted way, which is how I got to my understanding of that, was looking at these extremes and saying, well, okay, well, shit. If somebody's doing this, how can that be coming from love? And I started to reflect on that. I get really frustrated at my mother and I lose my patience with her because she's not doing things in a way that I feel are for her well-being. I think that she should be doing something differently because what she's doing is causing herself mental anguish. And I get frustrated with her when she continues to do this. Why am I getting frustrated? I'm getting frustrated because I love her so much that I want her to live a better quality life. And she's not doing it the way I want her to do it, God damn it. And so my frustration comes from my love for her. I get angry at my mom because she didn't do something the way I had wanted her to, because I am disappointed that had she, in doing it the way she did, it makes me feel that I'm unloved. And I'm angry at her for making me feel that way. And so again, my anger is coming from the perception of lack of love, which comes from the desire for love. You see how this is all playing back to love? And so I would challenge you to look at any emotion that you experience as an observer and see if you can find its root. And its root will always be love in some way, shape, or form. People talk about how everything is source. Anger is source. Frustration is source. Murder is source. Genocide is source. Source is everything. Source is love. Source is, people recognize that the energy of all that is and the energy of God is love. And they understand that. But then they look at genocide and say, oh, that can't be love. Well, genocide is love because everything is source and source is love. But to your point, how, or I guess to my point, how can I begin to recognize that everything that happens in this planet is out of love? So Annabelle says, some use the word love to mean life force. The energy of love is life. Yeah, I've like I started this conversation, I've heard that so many times from everybody that people I find repeat it because this is what they're told. And I'm not saying that you're one of them, Annabelle. I'm just saying that this is a comment that everybody hears in this community. And I don't want to just repeat it because I believe it to be true. I want to say that because I know it to be true, and I'm not there yet. I'm not at a place where I know this to be truth. I know it, I feel the possibility of the truth behind that. And I'm being very specific with my language on purpose, right? I'm showing you where I am on this journey of exploring what love means to me. Because I see a statement like that and say, yeah, I can get that, but I don't know the truth behind that statement. I don't know the absolute truth behind that statement. Is my knowing that absolutely true? And why is it absolutely true? But yeah, I would agree with you, Annabelle, that the energy of love is life. And again, Mama, I agree with you. We are discussing, as we were discussing yesterday, I just don't think we have the right words yet. We need more words to be able to share correctly. And this, for me, is part of the issue with language, right? Because people talk about love in a certain way, and my definition of love is not aligning to that. And so I'm trying to figure out, okay, where is the disconnect between love this way and the love that I define? And so we are very limited by our language. Absolutely agree. But this is the reason that I'm bringing this up, right? On purpose, I'm bringing this up is, what does this mean to you? Jevona is introducing the idea or the concept that she is dancing in life with happiness. She is dancing with happiness through life, still, continuously, still doing that, right? And so what I'm inviting you guys to play with is, what does that mean for you? What does it mean for you to be dancing through life with happiness? What does it mean to you to be dancing through life with love? What does love mean to you? What does happiness mean to you? Not the way that I define it, not the way some other guru is defining it, or some spiritual teacher or some mystic from, thousands of years ago that, it's not about what anybody else outside is defining. It's about, how do you define it? How does happiness manifest for you? What would it mean for you to go through life with happiness, dancing with happiness? That's what I'm offering to you guys as a invitation to go deeper into this topic, deeper into this beautiful invitation that Jevona is sharing with us.
Doesn't it just sound like fun? Like when you talk about it, it just sounds like fun. And I feel like, depending on, in your journey of life, we've been told to, okay, you're having too much fun, or, as kids, like, okay, stop jumping up and down, or, like, stop sharing, do this. We've all been told to, like, stop it, right? So I think joy is something that we're not used to, right? But I think through me learning, like, having a child, when I had my daughter, I was just like, I don't know. I think it's just all because I didn't have my mother. I was able to, I wanted to be with her at all the moments that I could. So I chose different circumstances. Like, I was a server because I wanted to spend more time with my daughter, or I wanted to have more money with my daughter. And people will be like, oh, you're a server, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, it gives me more time and more money. I can, I didn't need to have anybody else pay for things. Like, I can count on myself. Like, it was just, I chose different parts of my journey, and I always kept choosing, even though I kept choosing fun. Like, and there was still, even though I still felt like I played small lots, because it's like, okay, you're having too much fun. Like, you're not supposed to. Or like, even principal, when I would drop my daughter off, they would, he'd be like, you work at the pub. I'm like, yeah, so, and they're like, is it okay? So my daughter's fine though. Like, she has this big imagination. So they would always like, they picked on her, and a lot of it was to do with, because I looked really, really young when she looked really young. So I got judged a lot. And so I was just like, what's, I just was like, I didn't care. I was just like, my mom wasn't there. I was just like, I'm just going to, and I allowed my daughter just to be who she was. And this school would be like, she's doing this wrong. Or she had imagination. She had imagination all through like elementary. And she had this obsession with Little Mermaid. And, the teacher would be like, your daughter's obsessed. Like, she'll bring Little Mermaid with her. And then the one teacher, it was grade 4, I think. Oh, put the mermaid in the closet and shut the door, and was like, you can't have her till the end. And then she was devastated. Well, that's my mermaid in there, like, and and she would, you would draw the mermaid and stuff. And the teacher then even was like, okay, you can't draw a mermaid anymore. Like, she was being labeled and couldn't do this. And I was just like, and then they would send like, okay, your daughter has to go see a psychiatrist. And I'm like, why? So I take her to the psychiatrist. The lady's like, okay, go over there and draw and I'll talk to your mom. And so within that few minutes that we were talking, my daughter brought over this paper and she had every single Disney princess colored, drawn, and she was like, there you go. And I'm like, that lady was like, oh my gosh, your daughter is like an artist. Like, she's fine. I'm like, I know. But the school was making her out like, oh, she's too much in imagination, la 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 la. And then they would have like a guy come to our house and saying like to check the home. And you're like, oh, they might be having too much fun over there, or there's something not right over there, you know. And this man comes to my house and he sits and he's like, okay, asking me all these questions. And then he was finished and he was just like, oh, your home is fine. You guys are fine. I'm like, I know. And it was just like, I just, they didn't like that we would have fun or I was happy. Like, I worked in a hospital as well, and I did like the blood, and I would, work in emerge and stuff like that. And I wouldn't, I didn't enjoy it all, but I would walk around and I'd go in a room and there would be an older man and he'd be he's smiling, and I'd take his blood and he's, bleeding and he's happy. And I was just like, I'm happy. And I'm like, this man, he's like 80, he's bleeding and he's smiling and happy. And, and then you go to another room and then all of a sudden there'd be like nurses and doctors are like looking at you like, well, you don't look like you're busy. Well, I'm busy. I'm running around doing things. But as I go to each room, I'm like, I don't know. I just had the energy of just being myself, and some people like it, some people didn't. So it's just, but some people I feel like love the happiness. Some people don't. I mean, for me, I think we could use more joy in the world. Like, you have two radio stations. Do you want to listen to, something depressing, or do you want to listen to something happy? Well, I turn to the happiness, like, the world.
So
I'll work in.
if you were to take a moment, could you feel into some energies that might want to come forward and share something with us?
Usually, there's definitely lots of energy coming through always. Yeah. I feel like listening to a message from my team.
If they have something to share, and if not, that's okay too.
Yeah, we can do this. Okay. Hello, beautiful dear ones. So happy to play with you here on this beautiful day.
Welcome.
Allow yourself to take a deep breath. Relax into who you are. Allow this beautiful light that you are activate this feeling of peace, joy, ease, and worthiness in your body. Can you allow me to take you on an adventure within your soul to expand your heart? Allow yourself to feel the beautiful light that you are. connecting yourself to everything and everyone around you. Connecting yourself with the earth, embodying who you are. You came here to play. You came here to have an adventure. Allow yourself to be who you are. Relax into the beautiful light that you are. You can feel this energy flowing through your body moment by moment, each and every day. You are a gift to the world, and you have everyone around you to help. Connecting to who you are and trusting who you are. Allow yourself to feel your body expand into the light, your heart expand, and feel the love that you are, because it's truly who you are. You have this path in front of you, and you can choose each and every moment, starting new, each and every moment. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday, and tomorrow is not even here yet. By being in this moment and loving yourself in this moment, you can truly feel who you are. You are never alone. We are always with you. We want to play with you. As you're born, coming into this world, you've had this excitement and this love and this joy and this warmth within you. This love, this worthiness of who you are. And it's always there. You are pure love. And this pure love is here for you every moment of every day. It's getting quiet with yourself and tuning in to who you are. And listen to the loving words that come through. Trust that you are source energy here in physical form, having this experience. Yes, things happened in life, but that's just to show you and guide you on your perfect path. You have a purpose, and your purpose is to be you. Allow this dream in your heart. Allow it to guide you. Allow it to guide you on your beautiful path. Today is a new day. You are perfect just the way you are. Right now, you are perfect just the way you are. There is nothing you need to do. You are everything you need to be right here and now. And it's time to choose. It's time to give yourself permission and allow yourself to be guided by your intuition and by your dreams. Dance the dance. There are many doors in front of you, many doors to play with. You get to choose. This is who you are. You have choice. You get to choose whatever thing you want. You could dance, you could sing. You get to choose. You get to choose which flavor you want. can choose whatever outfit you want to wear. Today is a new day. And it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. Time is only illusion. And when you bring out your innocence and just play and play and play, you can feel this in your body, and you can feel yourself moving in the direction of your highest good. Allow yourself to feel this joy. Allow yourself to feel this peace within you. I'm here to remind you that you are worthy. You are worthy of this love and this joy. You are already abundant, and everything is here for you. Ask. You have everything you need here and now. Tune into us anytime you need. We are the breeze across your face. We are the tingles along your back. We are the shivers you get. We are the joy in everything. The rainbow, the butterflies, the tree, the squirrels, the bugs, everything. Everything is one. You are part of everything. And you are a blessing to this earth. You're here for this reason, to hear this message right here and now, and to trust this energy that's flowing through you, this vibration and frequency that fills your body and connects you to the earth. Does it not feel good? Does it not feel good to be this light that you are? To create, to be, just be. Just be you. How amazing is that? Just to be you. Doesn't that feel good? Can't you just take a deep breath knowing that you are source energy here right now? And your only job is to be you, whatever that might be. Follow your heart. I can feel this energy. It just lights up the world. Connecting to the earth, Mother Earth, all the way up to the sky, the sun, the moon, the stars. Everything is all you. This is all you. And it's all here for you now. Doesn't that make you want to dance? Doesn't that make you want to smile, jump for joy, celebrate, throw your arms in the air, shake it all out of your body? Give yourself permission to play. And it doesn't have to be in front of anybody. It can just be in your room. It could be in the bathroom. It could be anywhere. Give yourself permission. Thank you for allowing us to play here with you. If you're hearing this message now, this is activating in your body. Allow yourself, give yourself permission. This is who you really are. Source, abundance, harmony, well-being. You are the sun, moon, and stars. This is who you are. Trust that you are here to play this game. Play any game you want. Color with any colors you want. Allow yourself to just be free. Free. We love you. We love you. We love you. And with that, we are complete. Now I want to dance.
Still dancing with happiness.
Uh,
Thank you for that.
yeah. I think I could have a song to dance with. Maybe next one we could do that.
So talk to us a little bit more about what you do with people and how people can work with you.
Well, I channel, and I feel pulled to be a medium as well. That keeps, even if I sometimes think like, I don't know, with all the spirits and around me, but yes, I'm definitely pulled to be a medium. So I am offering whoever is watching this sessions for donations. Getting to know my guides. I'm tuning into them more and getting to know them. And I channel. Uh, I welcome anybody that wants a session with me too. I just getting into this frequency and this joy. And we just connect to source. If this is a frequency that you might love a little bit more in your body, maybe you want to dance some more. I also have been doing little events too. I just put on a dance event too, and it was dancing and sharing and feeling safe to be seen. Sometimes it's I found myself the last couple of years, it's just sharing and expressing who we are, hearing our voice, trusting. It's expansion is endless. It's endless. So
And so if you resonate with Jevona, if you go to the website, CSVS website, her website address is jevonaklassen.com. The link is in the website, and in the invitation section, she's offering anybody a 50% discount for a one-to-one channeled session. And like she mentioned, she's also exploring her mediumship abilities, and so she is doing those on a donation basis. So whatever you guys would like to, whatever amount you guys feel to share in exchange for that is welcome. Anything else you would like to share, Jevona?
I'm part of a Sparkles podcast show.
If you send me the information for Sparkles, I can add that to the webpage.
Okay. It's under Gwendolyn's blog and her YouTube at the moment, and then because she already had her email list and stuff, but we're going to slowly put it on her own.
Wherever it is, I'm happy to share the link. I'm happy to share the link in the description.
I was trying to look at if anybody sent messages. It's hard. I was just trying to I feel like I might get distracted if I was looking at. So if there's any messages that I didn't see, I apologize.
There's some thank yous and beautiful messages and things like that in response to the message that just came through and everything that you've shared as well. So thank you. Anybody have any questions or comments? We've got a little bit of time, so if anybody has any questions or things that you would like to bring up or share or ask. There's a request for the name of the podcast. What's the name?
The Sparkle Show. The Sparkle Show. Yeah, it would be under Gwendolyn's. I don't know if Dawn, do you want to put it in? It's if you want to put Gwendolyn's in there in her YouTube channel, or get on her email list. She sends the Sparkle Show. It's under her blog. I can.
Do you guys post it on the podcast servers? Is it a shared podcast that people could find on Spotify or on Amazon,
I don't,
for example?
Well, we just started it January. So she put it. She has like a email list of 700. So she started that, and we started getting some good feedback. So now we're putting it out more to others. Her blog is Gwendolyn, GWENDOLYNGILLIAM.com/blog. I'm gonna try.
So
Maybe
if you're listening to this,
will these comments be still there when I?
so if you're listening to this and you would like to
Sorry.
get the information for the blog and for the podcast, just go to the CSVS website, find Jevona's bio. In the not too distant future, I will add that to her bio. She just posted the link in the chat for people that are listening live. So there's a lot of.
I was just curious if.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I was just curious if anybody feel like dancing now that they've listened to me for the last hour and a half. Have you raised your vibration just a little bit? Really? Just curious.
The Sparkles Show, conversations to spark the magic in your life. Thanks, Jean. So thank you guys for being here.
Oh, there's Judy. You're here too. Yeah. Sorry.
Keep dancing, keep smiling and laughing. It's infectious. Beautifully so.
Yay.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So thank you guys for being here. And Jevona, thank you again for coming back to play. And I will leave you guys until next episode, which is going to be me. I have no idea how and when my channeling is going to go through, like I mentioned last episode. I'll talk to you guys more about that next episode. But next episode is me. So feel free to stick around if you're available, and I will see you then. Jevona, thank you again for being here. Lovely to play with you. And
thank you everyone for your messages. Thank you so much. I appreciate them all. Thank you, Daniel. Do you feel like dancing, Daniel?
Do I feel like dancing? No, at the moment I do not feel like dancing.
No? You get to you could even that song for kids, it's like dancing your sillies out. Sillies out, maybe dance your sillies out first, and then maybe you feel like, no?
So with that, I will leave you guys with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love. And I will catch you guys in about 30 minutes. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.